Namaste. I am Daksh. I'm the founder of Club World magazine. We work on the simple focus of finding teenagers who are doing inspiring work in life and sharing their work with other teenagers. So simply put, teens inspiring teens. Till now, we have covered nearly 300 such teenagers from across the world, and we are still scavenging for more. And from time to time, we try to bring out industry white papers on the K-12 education sector, which is typically to create idea repositories on what innovative or new or different is happening in schools during different points of time. All of us right now are experiencing something for the first time in our lives, and we don't want this to repeat again, which is the lockdown. And it has, given us an opportunity and at the same time a very distressing situation. If you look at it from the opportunity perspective, the whole world right now is a big laboratory for educational experiments. So whatever you thought that whether it works with your students or not, this is the right time to test. And every educationist here had a very big utopian dream that let's teach children value education. And the world has given us time to teach that with the best teachers, which is parents, not exactly our school teachers. So this is the time when innovation will actually happen. Because in the most distressing and the most worst situations, the best solutions come out. So the reason behind doing this series of webinars is basically very simple. Every section of the society contributes to the society with its own capabilities and its perceptions, its understandings and experience. Farmers are taking care of our food. Doctors are taking care of our health. As educationists, we are not just supposed to deliver education. At the same time, we are supposed to create the knowledge that the world would need in the coming times. So this is the time where it is your test to actually create the knowledge that the world would need. So I would just request all of you who's there on this call that try to build a habit of writing an observation paper every single evening. Try to note down what you think has changed or will change in the coming times, because that small piece of observation or knowledge could become a big guiding document for the future generations to come. Because such a big global experiment, we hope never happens again. So before we start this talk, a very formal and a very nice and a warm welcome to all of you to the Club World Web Talks 41st episode. Till now we have done 40 episodes, and normally the attendance on each call is around 10 or 15 school leaders, but today the number is less. So not an issue. It's quite a cozier setting. We'll get to talk more. So welcome all of you. And within these 40 talks, we have basically got a lot of ideas and a lot of innovations from school leaders, which that they're doing in their school during the lockdown. The first 30 talks were on a topic called No Lockdowns on Learning, where we have shortlisted 96 amazing ideas from schools that you can also experiment. And these ideas are shared on our social media. You can go and check and even use it for your schools as well. Just to give you some small little ideas, there's a very small place called Padua in West Bengal. They don't have good internet. So they gave a very innovative assignment to their kids. They told them, create a custom dictionary at home and add 5 new words every day to it and bring that dictionary to school once the school opens. There is one school in Gujarat. They were not able to send back their 50 hostlers. And since the lockdown began, they are right now housing and taking care of 50 children in their hostel, which come from some of the most affluent families from all across Gujarat. And they are doing some amazing activities to keep those kids engaged. They're doing a lot of community activities. So what all innovations you did during this lockdown, we want to know that. And before we actually come to the topic, which is the post-lockdown school, the idea or the concept of the school or the definition of the school that we all know has already been obliterated. It does not exist anymore. Because the institution that you're going to start after this lockdown would need a new definition. Because a school typically worked with small number of people taking care of a lot of people. And now that's not going to be the case. Because getting just 30% students in a class with the same teacher, running the school in 2 shifts, managing transportation, it's going to be a big and a different deal. So during this talk, what we want to know from you is first, your introduction. Second, what innovative or nice did you do during the lockdown for your students? And third and most important, how do you think teaching will change post this lockdown? We know we'll be having sanitization tunnels, we'll be keeping social distancing and everything. But how would teaching change? Because इतने समय में जब आपके बच्चे घरों पर थे और वो इन वीडियो कॉल से पढ़ रहे थे, so they are now accustomed to one-on-one teaching. How would you get them back to one-to-many? Because online पे it's always one-to-one. So things will change in the class. But let's see what you think. How will things change and how would the post-lockdown school look like? So again, welcome to the Blub World Web Talks 41 session. And let's start hearing from you. Let's first hear it from Meeta ma'am. Meeta ma'am, over to you for the next 2 minutes. You can unmute your audio. Try to give us your introduction, one innovation during lockdown, and one thing that you think will change in teaching in the post-lockdown school. Over to you, ma'am. You can unmute yourself.
Myself, Meeta Jadeja. I'm an academic director and principal with T.N. Rao School for Girls, Rajkot, Gujarat. I'm also CBSE resource person, teachers trainer, and parenting guide. Yes, it is completely a new dimension to go with in education. The schools have completely changed into e-classes, which we talk about and asking teachers to go on online learning. Now they're actually doing so. I have learned a lot. There is a complete transformation. One thing I can say to everybody is like we all are on the same ground. Even after 2 decades of learning experience, just now we are all on the same ground, learning new things every day. Lots of research is to be done, then to be planned, prepared, to work out on execution. Again, there is something new to come up. What kind of app to be used? What kind of new teaching learning process to be go for? There are some issues to deal with which is never before. And now I've learned not only to teach students, also to teach parents online. Because it's not only a child who is sitting there and taking the lesson. It's a mom sitting nearby, father sitting nearby, or even a grandmother. So we are teaching them also how to teach and how to deal with the children. And that is really exciting. We feel good about it, really. One thing I've realized is the fact is the new normal is this. It's the new normal to be online, to be, we are not teaching student, we are reaching to students now, right? Then comes teaching. And so I have just designed this, we need to focus. See, once the child comes to a class, we are all equipped with lots of learning pedagogy, strategies and everything. But when the child is there at home, we have to teach our teachers to deal with them. Teachers are not used to be online, available to everybody to see them. They are very happy teaching in the classrooms where they're comfortable, they are the king, and they're possessing their own children to follow. And here, everybody's looking at them. Prior, a school was in a classroom for a child. Now, for a child, the school is the whole world, is in their laptop or their gadgets. So we have to teach the students, that's what I've started learning and doing it, to motivate them, to build confidence first that they are looking pretty good, you know, in the screen. Because maximum they want to see how I look about it and how I'm going to deliver about the pronunciation coming from different areas and the language they're using it. So my pronunciation will not be correct. So we have to give them the confidence. We need to reach to our students, teaching them that they are perfect the way they are working very hard. Whatever they're doing is really wonderful. Second, teaching mentoring the parents, you know, to understand very well, it's not the content to be completed in education. It's not the syllabus to be completed, to be worried about how my child is going to complete and when the exams will be there in 10th and 12th and what about JEE and what next. It's better understand the situation, understand the need of the child, you know. Constant shower of lots of knowledge pouring in from every way, whether it's a social media, whether it's an e-platform, and they're talking about positive and negative. You need to declutter lots of things first, right? So my focus is that. And if I just sum up, I would just say that.
Ma'am, we had to mute you. We'll again come back to you if it's possible. The time was up. But I think teaching parents in the same class is a new experience for most of the schools because the parents are there and right now they can scrutinize and actually be there in the class. So it's a different experience even for the teachers as well. So
Yeah.
thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for sharing the perspective.
Thank
Let's now hear it from Malik sir. Malik sir, over to you for the next 2 minutes. You can unmute your audio. In every talk, we have a special guest with us. Today also we have somebody who's going to add a different flavor to the whole discussion. I'll invite him subsequently, but let's first hear it from Malik sir. Malik sir, over to you for the next 2 minutes.
Good evening, all dear friends, educators. I normally consider that I am a student. I am Dr. Mallikarjun, full name, but in Gujarat I have been called as Malik because Gujarati people will be liking it a smaller name. And I am a principal of RMG Maheshwari English School, Ladvi near Surat. And I am a person who has been used by most of the institutions here for re-establishing the schools whenever they are down, training the teachers or bringing back the school. It may be the finances. Based on the resources, I actually work on that. At the same time, yes, I am also CBSE resource person for classroom management, remodel structure of assessment. And luckily I had been working as a city coordinator also for NEET, JEE, CTET and all these things. And luckily, yes, I love to actually work with the children who are normally being branded. And I feel that these children normally in the schools which are being growing. So there is a greater challenge. And we normally start establishing the school with the minimum budget, with the lowest salaries, and those particular teachers who are not well trained, not experienced. And this particular challenge of the lockdown is one of the greater challenges because of we were still training them to be the teachers, the job going teachers, transforming them into the teachers. And now these teachers to be the technological teachers. That's the difference. And here, yes, there is a greater change in a shorter period of 1 month. We have observed that there is a change in both the learner as well as the teacher. Learner also has become equipped or becoming equipped with the technology, sitting single to work socially on the technological platforms. At the same time, the teachers, as ma'am has very rightly said, that yes, the teachers have become the researchers. They have created their own videos, their own PPTs. Never they had done it during the classes, and now they are doing it. And the beauty of the child, the learner, is to accept the teacher. Means the connecting a teacher with a child who is far away, not in the classroom, challenge, and which has been accepted. That shows that wherever we are, if the teacher, as I call it, teacher is an artist, एक कलाकार है जो एक मंच पे, दुनिया के मंच पे एक अनजान बच्चे को अपना समझ के सिखाता है. And that particular thing in the technological world also is found to be correct. And yes, the beauty of that particular dictionary, what you told, was one of the very innovative ideas. And the teachers also are actually coming out with various other things. Yes, the greater thing which every teacher is learning, or every coordinator or the principal is learning in this particular time, is to be extra alert, because parent is beside the child. Parent is beside the child. Yes, there is no chance of the mistake. It may be written one, which we are sending it in the form of worksheets, or it may be in the form of the speech somewhere. And at the same time, the parents are learning. The beauty of this particular lockdown and teaching online is the parent also is accepting that, yes, teaching and learning process is a tough one, not like the common parenting. Thank you very much, dear friends, to be having an opportunity with you all to share some words.
Thank you so much, Malik sir. And actually making employees into teachers is something that has always been a big challenge for all the educational institutions, because that is the way education works, that we hire the cheapest, train them to be the best, and we expect results which are exceptional. So it's incremental expectation limbo that we don't know how it goes. But yes, that's the way the industry works. But right now, schools actually need to refigure a lot of things. I'm just sharing a very, just 2 or 3 days back, we had the principal of Kalinga Institute. That's a school that teaches 50,000 tribal children on one campus without charging any fees from them. So we had their principal come in, and we were discussing about the same thing, that what will happen once the school reopens. So he shared a very nice observation. That's just a statement. I'm sharing the statement just for the sake of it, because I like the statement too much, that a school traditionally, or the way we know a school, is supposed to be an organization that brings the society together, that brings the community together. And now we are all supposed to teach a paradox to everybody who comes to the school. We have to teach them social distancing. So how are we going to do that? Because we are actually the people who become or who are the absolute weavers for this society, because schools actually bring people together. That's what we are supposed to do. So how would we actually imbibe that in our teaching post this lockdown? Because we will have to maintain a lot of social distancing. We'll have to wear those masks. So expressions and gestures will go for a toss. So connecting with a child will again be a challenge. So let's think on these lines as well. Let's now hear it from Anand sir. Anand sir, over to you for the next 2 minutes. You can unmute your audio.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. So special thanks to Meeta ma'am, Mallikarjun sir. And I'm very far away from both of you. You both are living in western part of the country. I'm there in Delhi, NCR. And this is also one of the area which is red zone of the country. Apart from that, we have privilege that this certain area where we have much more advancement of the technology. So the all common feature which we all are observing, this is common to all. But I'm talking about something different, and I will certainly find out my all PS group will love it. So, you know, the most important, first of all, I'm the vice principal of Khaitan Public School. Khaitan Public School is situated in Delhi NCR, and we have 2 or 3 branches over here. So we were predicting this lockdown initially in month of March end beginning and Feb end. So the certain things which we have already planned, you know, the best practices which we have done. First 3 months of teaching, learning, planning, we have planned that this is our plan B. And if this entire system has to be shifted to other portal or everything will be locked down, what will be the nature of the course of education for our children? And we have around, in one institution, we have around 3,000 plus children. In Delhi NCR, 3,000 plus strength is a bigger number. So, you know, all 4 or 5 major domain of education system we have planned. So when we were going to plan, in planning phase, all the academic system which we have designed through regular classroom teaching, we have converted into online classroom program. So this is one edge which we have got it. And everything we have already planned for online classes. So now we have everything on online classroom planning mode. Then yes, the preparation was very, very tough. And I think before the Janta curfew has been declared by the Prime Minister of our country, I remember on 19th and 20th of March, that is somewhere Saturday, Sunday, we were there in the school for training of the teacher for these 48 hours, including Saturday and Sunday night for around 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock. And early morning, we were there at 4 o'clock in the school campus, so that there should be no as such kind of hiccups for running the institution. Then in terms of execution, we piloting this entire program somewhere on 21st and 22nd of March for if we are going with online classes, how this thing has to be executed. So these 2 days has were there 22 or 23, I'm not wrong in that. We were only piloting the course for the teacher interface. Then we realized that somewhere we need only and only if the teaching is going on. Either we are using WhatsApp or you are using anything, and we are not understanding how much the child is understanding. You know, and if the problem will go ahead for longer period of time, we have to certainly focus on the learning assessment of the child. So assessment for learning and assessment of the entire course has been already embedded. There was a parallel setups we have inculcated. So all the particular wing head, you can say, these people who are called by the management and all of us, and then we have simply informed them that you have to go for the internal training to one-to-one. This way, evaluation, then assessment, then testing and remediation has been inculcated. So this way we have started our journey.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, sir. The time had ended, so we'll try to come back if it's possible. So let's hear it from Wahid Hussain, sir. Sir, over to you for the next 2 minutes. You can unmute your audio.
Hello everyone. I'm in 100% quarantine mode right now. You can see it. Um, Actually, I'm from the North Gujarat. It is a smaller town in the northern Gujarat, nearby 80 kilometers away from Ahmedabad. I have been working as a principal, and also I'm having my own organization called Beyond Books Learning Center. What we are doing over there, it is really connected with what is going on right now. We are working with the STEAM education system, and what STEAM education system is doing is like we make students independent. Like learning process is going to be completely based on focus on the students, and these things are related with self-learning things where the students are given different tasks, and they are supposed to do these things, where the role of the teacher is more as a guide than somebody who is keep telling them or instructing them what to do and what not to do. Here the students are free to do with this particular learning process where they can create their own things. Now, let me give you the example, or I can tell you that in the present scenario, how the things will change after the schooling. If I see it, I feel like more schools or more institutions work on this kind of concept. Why? Because see, we have never been prepared for this kind of thing. We have never been prepared what to do, and I have observed some of the online classes also. What schools are doing or what teachers are doing, like they are trying to go with the routine method or route process what they have been doing for years. They are not really getting connected with students. The schools are spending hours behind preparing things, or the teachers are spending hours behind preparing their material and putting them online, and asking the students to come on and giving the different tasks. But the productivity ratio, we need to understand this thing. We are being more active and lesser productive. We were more productive and lesser active when we were working one on one, but now the things are being changed. So when the teachers are being trained working online mode, but the students are really not ready, how are you are going to teach them, and how things will be more productive? So we need to teach the students also after this lockdown, when it is coming up with the social distancing, because I feel honestly it will be like forever. We are going to live like this forever now, uh, because uh, it's one thing, but what another thing will come up. What you are going to do then? Every time you are going to do the same thing, or you are going to face the same issues and then repeating the same thing? No, you need to prepare yourself, your students, and the community in advance, that these things are there, and we are supposed to bring the problems, and the solution. The simplest solution for me is like making the students and teachers independent. After that, whenever the things are coming, this kind of issues are coming, and we can come up with a better environment, better solution, and STEAM education will help them for this. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Wahid, sir, for sharing your thoughts. So we all hope that this lockdown will come to an end. But yes, we have to now find out more ways of engaging the student. Just to share an observation, uh, the way economies functioned, if you remember, around 20 or 30 years back, it was a seller's market. The seller used to decide what will the buyer buy. The brands were limited, the manufacturers were limited. Then economies grew, globalization came in, and it became a buyer's market. The buyer decided what he wanted, and brands were built around the buyer's needs. And I think this corona would actually, and is actually, that shift for the education sector, that from a school's ecosystem or a teacher's ecosystem, it's now a learner's ecosystem. Because once you have a kid online, if your content is not engaging enough, it's not good enough, he might choose not to listen to you, and you can't help it. You'll have to go by that. So right now, it's actually a learner's ecosystem now. So you'll have to think a lot more from his or her perspective, that what does he actually want to listen to? and then design a curriculum around his interest areas and his attention spans. So let's now hear it from Aradhana ma'am. Aradhana ma'am, over to you for the next 2 minutes. You can unmute your audio.
Good evening. I'm Aradhana Rana, the principal of the Icon Public School in a place called Ahmednagar, which is in Maharashtra. And it's a B-class city, but it has its own challenges. Like you see that I'm facing technical issues. The big city people are not. So these kind of things when we deal with, I think this corona was I shouldn't say that, but it was a much needed thing for education. Because, the kind of education we were giving, one, it was not very life-centric. We were preparing children for exams and, the rote learning and academies came up. Now is the time we need to shift total focus of education as such. The government needs to do it. We need to do it. The whole system needs to change. Now, if you see, the focus will shift not from rote learning to a system where there'll be life skills teaching. The whole assessment system will change because you can't have these kind of exams you are having, this pressure, thing that was built up. Now we are going to have online exams, open book exams. So you see how it's going to change the whole atmosphere. I visited some, universities abroad. I think we're going to shift into that, where it is very self-learning based, and like Mr. Syed was saying, it's totally learner-centric now, and the children are going to discover to us because we were pampering the children. Children always thought we are learning because it's a teacher's job to teach us, it's a parent's job, they put us in schools, but now they'll become responsible. Now they will know that if we don't learn, we don't learn. And teaching is even learning is going to be very exciting because they're going to now, surf the internet more. The screen time that they wanted, now it is coming into focus. Because if they're, studying for 5 to 6 hours, the screen time is utilized by education. So they won't have this kind of time to waste on, say, the kind of video games they were playing or kind of trash nonsense material they were using. Their eyes are tired. The phones are being taken away from them because parents feel they've had enough. The parents, their whole WhatsApp, their Facebook will reduce because the gadgets are going to the children now. I face a lot of this problem because in B-class cities, parents have one phone, maybe another phone the father has. Now the phones are being utilized by the children, the tabs, the PCs. So they don't get that kind of time. So this kind of thing is going to shift the whole focus in the houses also. Parents are going to get more involved with the children's education, and like somebody said, they're going to learn with the children. Very exciting because somebody's okay. Like, what has happened is that, the parents now, they have started taking so much interest in their children that they monitor them. We have started online classes right from class 1. And let me tell you, we are highly, highly successful with that. I gave them on the first, second day of the lockdown, we gave them a competition, create and win. You won't believe we were getting 100 videos every day. Children were making their videos, creating something. It was such an exciting, thing to happen. We have an accolade day in school on Wednesdays. So Wednesdays we used to tell them which video was the best, who danced the best, who created the best. They were coming up with science projects. I think it was absolutely wonderful. The job situation changing, it is going to shift the focus of education to areas where there'll be more jobs. So more medical, more strategists, more planning, more IT kind of people will evolve. I think it's a fantastic idea, and instead of treating it as a calamity, let's treat it as an opportunity. We'll probably see a much better world. The nature is reviving, and so will our education system. Thank you
so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. I think a very nice idea you shared, and we would want more observations on that, the screen time appetite of a student will get satisfied. Let's see whether it happens or not really. But this is something that will be interesting to know, that does it actually satisfy his screen time appetite. So we all here sitting on this call, we know one thing for sure, like very proficient and very nice politicians, we made a very good shift. We were the people who told kids, don't use tech, don't be on the phone, don't be on the screen. And right now we're all asking them to be on the screen for 5 to 6 hours every day. But just at this point, I would like to say just one simple thing. We are all using a lot of EdTech platforms or a lot of education technology solutions. But we have to remember one simple thing. Most of these education technology platforms or EdTech products are not solving education issues. They are only solving communication issues. So education issues still remain unsolved. So that's where your talent comes in and your observation comes in. So today we have somebody interesting to share some different perspective on the school education system. We have with us an expert on self-learning and somebody who has worked in a lot of countries around this and is trying to initiate a project globally in partnership with the Global Ecoversities Alliance and with an Indian arm as well. So the introduction is already there on the chat and we'll share more details about him. But let's now hear it from Dan for the next 2 minutes. Dan, over to you. Please.
Right.
Please, over to you.
Super. Thank you, Daksh. Thank you for welcoming me on this call. And yeah, so with 2 minutes, I guess I'll get right to the idea. We're planning on piloting a podcast or a way that people can listen to content that would have 3 objectives. One would be to expose kids to new positive development of their surroundings. The second idea would be connecting facilitators that offer skills that can enable this to a wider audience. So kids or teachers that are interested in engaging in self-directed learning can connect to these facilitators through the podcast. And the third objective would be to encourage and invite learners and communities to take part in experiments and explorations in their local community. And I'll give an example for each of these. For the first awareness bit, it could be having a doctor on the podcast. And all of these would be 10 to 15-minute interviews that can be used for self-designed, self-directed learning. So for the awareness bit, the first could be having a doctor on the podcast and talking about breathing and the importance of breathing for health, and maybe introducing 2 or 3 different breathing techniques that kids could do. For the second bit of facilitators, it could be a facilitator based out of New Delhi, interesting or offering workshops on cultivating microgreens or creating their own compost pit. And the facilitator would share the core awareness for this idea and also the spaces where they can be reached, whether virtual offerings or if people in the New Delhi region want to connect in person through personal meetings. The third, for the exploration and experimentation, an example could be inviting kids to do a food audit in their community, where they go around and they see where all the food comes from. And then they are given an opportunity to get on the podcast, do an interview, and share their experiences with these explorations. So we see technology as a possibility for connecting kids to their local environments, to their communities, and connecting on a larger scale. So not being disconnected as a lot of technologies and ed tech solutions are doing now, but rather as a way to connect on a much deeper level. We would plan to do this in Hindi for the Hindi podcast. And at the core, I gave the example of the doctor. At the core of this would be systems thinking, with the idea that all things are interconnected. So we'd have awareness based on health, on education, on agriculture, on different practical skills kids could develop. So the range of awareness and skills offered would be really broad and would hopefully give the kids a way to realize the interconnection between all of these areas and also how they themselves are impacted by these things and how they impact these things. So hopefully they start to develop the competency of thinking in systems. So they see these innate interconnections. And yeah, we're in the kind of prototype and pilot phase. So all feedback or ideas are warmly welcomed. And yeah, we look forward to hearing from you. And if you're interested in engaging with this podcast, or using this as a tool to engage your learners, we're happy to share and even offer opportunities for your students to be on the podcast, or for your experts or practitioners in your networks to be on the podcast. So that's the overall view of the podcast idea. And podcast is the word I'm using. That's the word we've talked about. But this could be a simple interview that's posted on a website. So you don't need a special app. You just need to have a web browser to access this. So yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing your ideas and inputs based on this idea. And we, greatly appreciate any ideas. So thank you for this time. And yeah, thank you for all the valuable inputs that you're all sharing as well. So I guess I'll end there. And yeah.
Thank you so much, Dan. So this is the time when a lot of collaboration will happen, when the society will actually find more meaning in the word school and in the institution school. Just some days back, a principal shared a very nice idea that Corona or COVID-19 had a lot of disease hotspots. And in the post-Corona world, the school can be the immunity hotspot, because we are the ones who can spread awareness like wildfire, because we have some of the best brand ambassadors in the society listening to us, which are kids who can drive change very fast, very quick, and make it very effective. So this is going to be the era of schools now, but at the same time, it's going to be a very challenging era for the schools as well, because the structure of a school, the business idea, the financial model, everything right now has obliterated. We need to rethink on everything, that how will things actually work out once schools reopen. Because with just 30% capacity and 2 or 3 shifts going on, managing transport, teachers, keeping the teachers' efficiency up even for the second shift, would teaching be a half-day job anymore, or it'll be a full-day job now? We'll have to think on HR policies now. So a lot of things will be happening. Before this call comes to an end, just want to share one more observation. We'll now have to think very seriously on 2 skills, which will have to be deciphered now to all the students. Because without these, a student might not find sustainability in life. Because most of the skills that we teach him right now are being replaced by tech. So test every skill on the barometer of tech. If tech can do it, don't teach it. Teach it only when it makes that human being better than technology. So the first skill that we think would be creativity. Creativity not just in the sense of colors and paintings. Creativity in the sense of critical thinking, divergent thinking. Actually, to put it very simply, just teaching students the art to think, that how do you need to think. And second, which is going to be super critical, which comes from the genesis of the word knowledge. The word meaning of the word knowledge comes from 2 words. The first section is know, and the second is ledge. Knowing your ledge, or where do you stand, or what's good for you and what's bad for you. We'll have to teach them wisdom. And the problem with both these skills is you can teach these skills, but you cannot evaluate them. So we don't know whether the student actually has learned it or not. So it's going to be a new challenge that comes in. Think on pedagogical lines, think on teaching lines. So if you have any more suggestions, or you think that you want to share something about this, our team will stay connected with you. Most of these suggestions we are trying to print in the magazine every month. And just in the coming days, we'll be having the Honorable Lok Sabha Speaker, Shri Om Birla ji, coming for one of these webinars. And we'll be giving him that suggestive document so that he can push it to the MHRD for policy change. So if you have any ideas that you want to push it through, you can share it with us. We are doing a very small competition. We are trying to find the most creative school in South Asia. So if you, your students, your teachers are doing anything creative, share it with us. It's a free competition to participate, and there is a cash prize at the end. The reason to keep a cash prize is just so that we get to know even the small little innovation that happens in any corner of South Asia. So people, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for taking out the time to be with us. I hope you enjoyed the last 20-30 minutes. Thank you.